because trading will show you real quick. If you don't know who you are and you don't know what game you're really playing in, you're not gonna get a payout, period. And that's not an insult, it's just what this space is. See, most traders don't fail because they're not smart. They fail because they're pretending. Pretending that they're ready, pretending that they're disciplined, pretending they basically pretending playing as if some like body else that they see on YouTube or something. And the truth is, yo, you're not. And until you're ready to understand that, you're just pressing buttons and you just pressing buttons hoping. I ain't gonna lie to you. So there's more to the game that is being played. So let's talk about it. There are traders out there who start with different capital than you. They have hundreds of thousands of dollars. Let's say $500,000 they starting with. The people that you're watching and you're looking up to and you're seeing them make these type of profits, they could have inherited it. They could have earned it. There's just different circumstances, correct? And their rules is different. They can risk 2,000 in a day and be risking 0.5% of their capital and still make 3,000 for that month, pay for their mortgage, take a vacation, and scale up even on their business type stuff. You know what I'm saying? So they're playing a whole different game. See, you could be starting with a $250 saving account, funded account, small, you know what I'm saying, savings that you got after rent or something like that. And that's a different game. You got to understand that. That's okay. It's not worse. It's not less worthy. It's just different, right? So if you're trying to mimic somebody that's trading, let's say with $500,000 or something like that, you're going to break your own structure. And let me tell you why. Because they're playing to protect capital and you're trying to build capital. It's different. And they can sit for days and just basically take no trades, you know what I'm saying, chill. And you in your head, you sitting there thinking, if I don't make money this week, I'm screwed. I'm a failure, right? So you got to understand the difference on mindset there, bro. Totally different pressures, totally different psychology going on. So that's what you got to keep in your head. It's totally different ball game being played compared to what most people are seeing on social media when it comes to trading, depending on what they're tuning into. But I'm talking about the mainstream, culture of what's going on. All right. So, people, they compare, they copy. And then the final phase of comparing and copying people, bro, that's collapse. Simply collapse. So now, you want to know exactly, and I mean exactly, where you are in your journey. Because if you want to grow in this game, let's talk about it, yo. You need to stop and ask, where am I right now? I'm not talking about yesterday. I'm not talking about where I want to be, like, actually. Not your dreams, like, not your future self, like, not what you put on as a front for social media. I'm not talking about that. Where are you, literally, mentally, like, emotionally, financially, skill-wise? Because the more honest you are about that level, the more powerful your next step becomes. If you're at the beginning, your job is not to make 10K a month. Your job is to not break your rules. That's your job. It's not to make 10K a month. You need to learn how to sit on your hands more. You got to be able to understand that the risk is like, you got to know it like the back of your hand. You got to know it like a heartbeat. It ain't something that you want to be able to just be willy-nilly with. You want to know, your risk. You get me? All right. Everybody want to scale up, for sure. Everybody want to go to the next level, but nobody wants stability. Like, when we going to talk about being stable and, you know what I'm saying, being consistent enough to be stable and then scaling up in trading, you know what I'm saying? That should be the goal. That should be the hallmark of what it is, not just, let's go to the top all the way. But anyway, if you go up faster, you can blow up faster. So you want to be able to grow, stabilize, and then grow, correct? So now let's get deeper, because if you're serious about trading, you know this. It's about who you are. And most people skip this, yo. I ain't gonna lie to you. They'll download strategy, study candles, watch webinars, buy this course, buy that course, and through the end of that, the market don't care what you know. That's a fact, right? The market don't care what you know. And it's you that react when the money is on the line. The market ain't reacting. The market moving. You reacting when the money move. So this is what we got to do, yo. This is what the game demands. Let's talk about that. Number one is silence inside. You cannot trade if your mind is loud. If you thinking about bills, results, proving something, or, you gonna crash out. You gonna force a trade. You gonna fold. You gonna do something stupid. You gonna break your rules, and that's it, right? So you want to stay away from that. The best traders are quiet when it comes to stepping into the chart. They might have some music on or something in the background, but the quietness got to be right there. You got to have that mental quietness, or you're gonna make a bad decision. That's a fact. So, number 2, you got to be able to understand pattern disruption. You need to be able to catch yourself mid emotion, mid habit, mid trigger, whatever it is that get you out of your zone. You got to be able to stop and discipline yourself. That is self-awareness under pressure. And if you can't do that, you're not trading. You're just simply reacting. Number 3, neutrality. This game will mess with your head and your emotions if you let it. Wins feel too good and losses will feel too personal on the inside. You want to be able to have a stance of neutrality, literal neutrality. You got to be able to flatten out, you know what I'm saying? You can't be on a high, on a low. Like, you got to just be able to be right there, just like, you know what I'm saying? Don't care too much when you win. Don't get mad when you lose. Just be able to understand this is a series. This is a series of trades that I've selected as far as my, criteria. And I'm going to let it play out. It's not my job to change my winning percentage. It's my job to show up and do what I got to do. You feel me? You get what I'm saying? So, yeah. But with that being said, let's see where we at, yo. You want to be able to know this. What if it takes a year to be consistent? A lot of people want that 3-month, 4-month, you know what I'm saying? Even months sometimes. I feel like, it could be a lot of people that want it a little faster because of how it's advertised. But what if it took a year? What if it took 9 months for you to rewire your psychology in order for you to be able to slow down and unlock everything that it is for you to not rush into these trades, rush into accounts? You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be able to learn how to love the slow climb. And the reason why is that patience will pay you forever. Patience is what's going to pay you. You rushing and going into the trades, not. You feel me? All right, number 5, precision, not perfection. Precision, right? You know your level, you know your setup, you know what your numbers are, and you execute clean. Most people are emotional, sloppy, and guessing. But real traders, they are surgeons. Here's the truth no one likes to talk about. Most people will never get a payout. Not because the system is rigged, but because they're never been able to build a version of themselves that could hold one. You got to understand that. It takes a different level of yourself to be able to earn a payout, to be able to sustain it. Let's talk about that. That's a whole different game. In this league, meaning consistent, like, you got to be, this is a space for people who are willing to become something that most never will. They don't just want to be able to trade. They want to be able to transform. Their reactions change, you know what I'm saying? Their self-talk changes. Their entire sense of time and risk, it is rewired. Like, you don't look at time the same. You don't look at risk the same. It is now, you look at it as something you use to your advantage, and you want to be able to take hold of and use to your advantage. Make the most out of, correct? That's what a trader does. I end with this question, yo. What game are you really playing? Are you chasing payouts? Or are you trying to build a foundation? Are you comparing yourself to traders with 10 times the capital you got, 5 times the capital you got? Or are you faking progress so that way it look like you moving forward? Just asking, just a question. Because if you are, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm gonna just tell you right now, it's not gonna hold. It's not gonna hold forever. And you gotta be able to be honest about your level. Get clear on your game and start building from that place. The progress might be slow, but it'll be real. And eventually, it'll pay. Not just money, but clarity and peace and freedom from all that noise. That is the real payout, folks. Let's get it.